What is social engineering? Let's talk about it. To give a quick description of what social engineering is, it is the art of manipulating users to obtain confidential information. I love to see how some of these different processes roll out and just see like how people fall for this stuff, because it really opens up my eyes in the training world and things that I think that I need to focus on and learn and understand more so that I can talk about it to end users, to my friends, my family, so they can understand what they need to look out for so they don't become a victim of social engineering. What does social engineering look like? We're going to give a few examples of the different type of tactics that are used in the world of social engineering. The first one, and the most widely known tactic in social engineering, is phishing, whether that's just like regular email phishing or spear phishing. There is vishing, which is utilizing phones to complete their social engineering tactic. There's pretexting, which is more of a scripted type of social engineering tactic that is used. There is baiting, where you can drop like a USB stick somewhere and hope that somebody plugs it in, which it's an infected stick. So once they plug it in, this could give them access to an organization, to your sensitive documents. It really varies on where you're plugging in that thumb drive. A more modern look at baiting would be false links that are put up on websites or false advertisements. So when you click on them, it basically could take you to an infected site. That's very common to see, especially if you are trying to download something and you end up on a page that looks really sketchy because there's like 8,000 download links and you have no idea which one is the right one. There's also tailgating. So you could manipulate somebody who has like an RFID badge so you can kind of like get into restricted areas with them. Basically what you do is you kind of engage with these people. You try to, become friends with them essentially. Then you work your way through different environments, pretending to be somebody else and just gaining access. The higher you can go, the better, of course, but that is a form of tailgating. So let's talk about phishing and spear phishing. So one of the big tactics in phishing is fake emails. They really try to make these emails like very clickbaitish, where there's an enticing subject or information within that email that they're trying to get you to click on the links that they provide within that email. Once you click on that link, it's going to take you to some kind of infected website, more than likely. So that is a tactic that is really widely used, and you see that everywhere. Spear phishing is more of a targeted attack. They're designed to target specific individuals with relevant information to said individuals. So a hacker might look into more information about you and try to understand some of the things that you're interested in, or maybe where you're working at, and they can use some of that information to make an email more enticing. And that's something that is definitely used more so in organizations, because people are trying to gain access to the critical information that resides there. But you can see this also in just a regular end user, residential type of situation, where somebody can look on Facebook and gather as much information as you are sharing out there so that they can craft an email that really would stick out to you, so you'll click on it. Phishing and spoofing. This is something that is gaining a lot of traction in the last few years. If you've ever got a phone call from the IRS saying that you are subject to a fine and you're going to go to jail, that's a form of phishing. What happens often is you are going to get a phone call from somebody pretending to be from a well-known organization, and they're trying to gather sensitive information from you. So one other tactic in phishing is somebody calling you from Microsoft saying, oh, your computer's infected, we're calling because we can help you. And this type of scam happens all the time. I got a phone call from one of these people and I strung them along for a little bit of time. It was really funny. I really enjoyed that. But that is something that, a lot of people fall for. And what happens is they will walk you through a process where you basically open up your computer to them. And once they get inside of your computer, they'll start installing different malware and things like that, so that they can start gathering more sensitive information from you. So they'll put in like a keylogger, which obviously logs all of your keys. That'll send it off to them so they can get your passwords and any other sensitive information that you are sharing. Another form of phishing is spoofing. And this is something that is really cool to me, actually. I really kind of find this interesting, where you're able to clone somebody's phone or phone number, and there are multiple angles within the spoofing on how somebody can be manipulated with this. Something that I found really cool within spoofing relies on two-factor authentication. So what you could do is spoof somebody's number, and this is under the pretense that you've already gathered information about them, so you know some of their habits, you know some of the different websites that they frequent, maybe you know offhand what bank they use, and you could go to these different websites and request a password reset. And instead of requesting a text message, for example, you could say, call me. And if you do this at an off time where somebody's not expecting a phone call from somebody, or they just don't recognize the number, so they don't answer it, it could potentially leave a voicemail with the verification code that you're looking for. So this can help them gain access to your account. This also happens when you spoof a number and you call different utility organizations. You could do this with a phone company, for instance. You could do it with like T-Mobile, where you spoof a number, you call in to T-Mobile. It looks like you're calling from the number that's listed on that account. And you could say, hey, I need to add another phone, or hey, I forgot, my email that I was using, or hey, I forgot the password to my online account. And this is just a really crazy tactic in social engineering, and it happens all the time. Pretexting relies on a really scripted scenario. This means that the hacker is really doing their research. This is another thing that's similar to phishing, where they can pretend to be somebody else and have this whole scenario scripted out. They're ready for your pushback, and they have their answers ready, and they're really trying to gain your trust. They're really trying to push you for the information that they're looking for, but based on it being a scripted scenario, they could utilize any type of service that is out there, like your internet service, your phone service, banking services, and things like that. Some of these people could be impersonating people your friends, your family. They could be sending you an email, asking for money, asking for different critical information about you. The way that they script this, they're really trying to pretend their hardest to be that person that They're really pushing their limits and trying to figure out how they can gather the information that they need, or just manipulate other people. Baiting is another real cool tactic in social engineering, and on here I put the golden USB, because what happens with the golden USB is you stage this USB device to have malware on it, keylogger on it, whatever the case may be, and you place it strategically in public places or different organizations, and then you wait for somebody to pick up that USB stick and plug it into their computer. As soon as they plug it into their computer, the different code executes, and now you're infected. Now potentially your network is infected. Now these people are gathering information that you don't want them to have. So never, ever take a USB that you found on the ground and plug it into your computer. That is a really bad idea. Another form of baiting is spoofed links. You may see this all the time, especially in emails with phishing campaigns. They utilize different website links to redirect users to infected web pages. Think of all the download links like we talked about previously. That's another form of baiting. They're trying to trick somebody into going to a website that they were not initially trying to access. So you click on a link for google.com, but really that was a spoofed link. You didn't hover over that link, or you didn't see it within your browser. So once you click on it, now you're going to an infected website. Tailgating is more so proximity manipulation, utilizing a user for their different clearance, pretending to be someone to gain access to otherwise unauthorized areas. So I could go into a business organization that has multiple levels of security, but I could be talking with somebody and pretending that I am part of the organization, or maybe I'm some type of outside consultant, and you're trying to gain access to these different levels so that you can potentially access some of their different systems and manipulate them with different exploits, malware, keyloggers, and things like that. This is something that is really cool also. This really relies more so on that in-person interaction with somebody. So you really have to be on your A game if you're looking to social engineer somebody and manipulate them into getting yourself more access in their environment. Or maybe you're trying to do this with, regular Joe Schmo, and you tailgate them. So what can you do about social engineering? Learn. You need to learn about social engineering. It's something that is going to exist for a very long time. It probably won't go away ever. They're just going to come up with more tactics, different ways to manipulate people, and you need to be aware of those. So familiarize yourself with different social engineering tactics, like the ones that we went over. Proactive scenario-based training is definitely a great way for you to learn. You can learn the different ways that organizations can be exploited and learn how to spot vulnerabilities. How or where do you learn about social engineering? First thing that I want to kind of mention here is question and analyze everything. That's really important, whether you're just a regular Joe Schmo or you're in a business organization. You need to make sure that you question or analyze every single situation when you are dealing with sensitive information and dealing with somebody that you may never have heard of, that sounds very convincing, even emails that you get from coworkers. It's always good to hover over the links. I read a thread on Reddit where a sysadmin fell for a phishing email that their security team sent out. And it just so happened that prior to this email going out, this sysadmin was talking to their HR department about some different time off and benefits and things like that. And the spoofed email that went out was actually showing up as it was from the HR department. A common method within phishing, spear phishing, spoofing is spoofing your email to look like it could be coming from within your organization. That's something that happens very often. So a common thing that I do is always kind of check where exactly that email resides. It could show that it's coming from your organization, but once you kind of expand your email client, you can see that that email address is actually completely different from what's listed. But also making sure you verify the links within that email is very important as well. So take your time reading and browsing the World Wide Web and emails. Make sure that you are observing everything that you're clicking on, taking your time and analyzing everything, because you don't want to fall victim to one of these social engineering tactics from just being impatient or clicking too soon and not paying attention to what you're doing. As we said, check those spoof emails, verify identities within those emails, check your surroundings for some type of proximity manipulation, as we talked about before, and never be afraid to ask questions. Whether you are regular Joe Schmo or in a business organization, make sure you are asking questions. Verify that this person is who they say that they are. If they're asking for something that's out of the ordinary, if they're asking for money, if they're trying to get access to something that they normally wouldn't have, verify they are who they say that they are. My favorite resource in social engineering training is KnowBe4. I've used them before in my past at my previous job. I was tasked with sending out the phishing emails to target our end users to see what type of stuff that they would click on, and then I was tasked with training them. So KnowBe4 allows you to do all that. They provide a lot of really great training materials, which I really like, but they have different modules on there that allow for training, whether it's for you or your end users. It's something that's really valuable. So I would check out KnowBe4 if that's something that you think your organization could use, or if you're just your regular Joe Schmo, you want to learn more about it, go check them out and get some training. It's very, very important that you understand all the different tactics of social engineering so you don't become victim of it, or so you can train your end users on what to look out for. As I kind of said a few times in this video, I love social engineering. Thinking like the enemy, trying to understand the different tactics that they're using, and really becoming familiar with all the new types of manipulations that they use. It's a lot of fun trying to understand that. But the part about it I think I like the most is being the guardian, being the person that can help other people spot the different types of social engineering manipulation. That's what I really enjoy about it. I don't necessarily enjoy the fact that people get social engineered, get their accounts compromised, get money stolen from them and things like that. That's terrible. But I love it because I need to understand it. I need to understand how this works so that I can train you and what to look out for so you don't become a victim of that. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's just kind of a quick overview of social engineering. I'm going to do more videos where we actually will get more in depth talking about different phishing campaigns, vishing campaigns, tailgating, and things like that, because it's something that's really exciting to me, and it's something that I think everybody should know. Security is one of the biggest areas in IT right now, and we need more people who understand how some of these different tactics work, or how different exploits are run, how malware works, and how to prevent these types of things from happening. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, hit me up in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. As always, take it easy.